All right, one of my favorite people on today is Gwen Stefani. How are you, Gwen?
Gosh, clap for myself. Yay.
Yes,
So
yes.
good. I'm in LA. I am sitting around talking to DJs this morning. It's like I just can't believe that I get to do this again. Like it's interesting like to be this far into life and have a new music and be able to share it. It doesn't get old, and it gets actually more you get more grateful. I didn't know that was possible, but it's like
Hmm.
very it's very intense. It's like you work so hard on something that is your truth, and then to share it is like this big kind of like confession, and I just feel like I'm floating with like joy.
And I know you started back with No Doubt, and then you branched out onto your own. So it's like for you to still do this, I think it's kind of cool because this is so important to still talk to the radio stations and to things like that. Because there's so many other outlets now. So we're just glad that you're taking time to talk with us. And yeah, most people might know you too from The Voice, which is I know kind of different, right? People know you from The Voice. You're like, no, 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 I'm a whole like artist singer over here. Like,
It's wild because life is just flying by. Like I kept thinking about like people would say, why did it take so long? I mean, it always takes a long time to write music for me, and add in being a mom, and all the other things that
life.
I do. It's like it's like I felt guilty even trying to go to the studio, like because going to the studio is like it's so loaded with emotion and fear,
Hmm.
and, like, you're going in with people, trying to find the right chemistry and, like, collaborate and be you and reveal all these personal things about yourself, and then you could, like, get there and, like, it doesn't, like, happen, and you just wasted, like, 5 hours of your life when you could have been home, whatever, like, cooking dinner for your kids or whatever, you know what I mean? That it's very, like it's a very hard balance, and I just, I felt like I really needed to do music though. Like I just it was like that thing. It must have been the God thing just eating at me or poking at me, because here we are now. But like with The Voice, it's another like thing with time. Like this is my ninth season. So when you look at the time, you're like, wow, like I did that many times. And again, like this season, I wasn't even going to go back because I'm like, Blake retired. Like the reason he retired is he wants to hang out with me and the kids. You know what I mean? So it's time, like always fighting time. But when they were like, Snoop and Michael Bublé and
I
Reba,
know, right?
I was like,
It's
I
a good
cannot not
cast.
do that. Like I have to do it. Snoop Dogg, like what? So it's been a really fun season. And I always get so inspired being on the show because there's so much music and the interpretation of music. And then like the hope and dreams of these super talented people that they're way better singers than I like. It's just the whole thing is it's just a very cool thing. And you get to mentor people and share like what you know. And it's cool. It's a very cool show.
Now, with that, talk about mentoring, and you got your new album, which is coming out in November 15th to be
Woo!
exact. Okay, so it's coming out. So, so you talked about what inspired you to get back into the studio. Was it like working with like fresh people that are looking for that start, like you were when you first came out? That's kind of like, man, did it kind of like revive you a little bit to go, wow, there's, you know what I'm saying, like feeling
No, I
off
do.
of
It's
the
like it's
newness of
it's
that.
no different than like if you like this morning, like talking to people one after another about myself. But like, the chemistry with each person is completely different, and the interview turns out completely different. And the same thing with, collaborating and songwriting. And I think that when I first started, I was trying to chase and compete with myself a lot. And I feel like the people that I happen to be in the studio with, the same thing. Like I wanted to go back and make like a really happy reggae fun record because we were in the middle of COVID, and I just felt like it felt very nostalgic. Like I could see that like people were loving that again, and it was kind of recycling. And it
Hmm.
wasn't like when I first discovered ska music and was like a kid and it was my identity and this music was coming out of me purely. It was like I was trying to recycle myself, and it just wasn't really landing for myself. Like I didn't want to listen to it, so how is somebody else? You know what I mean? Like, and it wasn't like, and there
Exactly.
were really good songs, but it was like I guess I had outgrown myself and I needed to like find who am I now. I don't need to ever, I don't need to be doing this. Like I did it. Like I can't even add another song into my set list and, or I'll have to take out Hollaback Girl. You know what I mean? Like, but,
No, you cannot take that out.
so
That is the workout go-to for me. I'm not gonna lie.
but
That is on my playlist for working out.
that's what I'm saying. It's like it's hard to know like where to go from here. So I really like it took me a while. And once I wrote this song, Purple Irises, I had gone in the studio and it was recommended to me to work with this guy, Jay Cash. This is how life is. It's like we need each other. We're a tribe. Like we need each other. And I found the guy and it was recommended to me through Adam Levine from The Voice. And he knew this girl, right? So a guy that knew this guy that knew this girl, and her name was Madison, by the way.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, and the other girl was Nico, and it was these two young girls, and they both sort of like their parents grew up listening to No Doubt, and so you can imagine what that's like for me, you know, walking in like and being like, "Hey, what's up? Like, let's write a song together." And these girls were like so cool and so talented and so confident, like in a way that I never was ever at that age. And we just they gave me the space to really be myself. Like I think in some of the other sessions that people were so talented that I couldn't get in and get my because I'm slow. Like I need time like to be myself and like they just these girls just did that for me and I felt like, you know, there was other people that I wrote with, Nick Long and Circuit and Jack and Coke, who are from Sweden. Like, it's just finding the right chemistry and the right, and also finding the right timing for myself. Because once I wrote Purple Irises, it was like, okay, the rest of the record kind of happened kind of quickly after
Hmm.
after 4 years. But it's interesting. Like, I really wanted to create something that was just I didn't want to like try to be in the world. I wanted to just be in my heart. Like I don't care about anything that's going on except for what I needed to confess and get out and share. And
Hmm.
it feels very like it was a very pure art project and that is just so fun because it feels kind of like the beginning when Tragic Kingdom when no one was looking, you know what I mean? So it's interesting. Life is weird, art is weird, and God has a purpose for me and I'm just trying to pray like please show me where to go.
Okay, I have to ask this question. Because I'm gonna go back a little bit. Your lamb collection. Some people didn't even know that you had a collection like with shoes and things like that you were doing, which I was like, yeah, I had the look, I'm gonna go back. I don't know if you remember. You
I
had oh no, you
remember.
had like two. You had like a white boot before everybody was doing like the wedge
Yep, I know
platform
exactly
boot.
what you're talking about.
They
Yep.
I just had to retire them because I wore them out and I had them for a very long time. I need that to come back, Gwen, just like you were inspired with your music. Everybody looks at your style and your clothes. I mean, I feel like it might be easier now to kind of bring some of that back because things are different now.
I love designing, but I feel like some of the business side of things is just where I'm like worn out. I don't like it's not me. I'm not a business person, so that it gets you like a lot, it gets you frustrated in that world. But I did love designing. In fact, my somebody I worked with back in the day when I did all the lamb fashion shows sent me a link to like some of the fashion shows and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Blake, you have to watch all these with me." Because he didn't know me back then like when I did all that stuff and I was just like I was amazed by it. I was like, "Oh my gosh, it was so cool. The music for the
Yes.
shows, like but it's really crazy. Just last week, it was my birthday, and Blake took me up to Colorado just to like really like transition. And we went up and did some hiking, and we were like in the middle of this place called Steamboat Springs. Like no, it was such a small place, right? And I'm
Hmm.
hiking up this hill, and this girl walks by, and she has a pair of lamb tennis shoes on that were like these camo ones that I haven't seen in 100 years. And she's like, you're like, you're Gwen. I have on your shoes. I was like, how are you still wearing those? Like, didn't they fall apart by now? So that
No,
it
because it was
always
a good
makes me,
product. It was a good
I was,
product, ma'am. It was a
It
good
was
product.
cool. It's always makes me so happy when I get to do that. But this, I think the most happy is when someone listens to the music. That's my favorite. Like to me, the music is the fire, it's the fuel, it's the heart of who I am creatively. And like that's why making a new record was, I mean, I love designing, don't get me wrong. It's just the music is everything.
But they both go hand in hand. See, while we're listening to the new album that comes out November 15th,
Okay,
we could also be wearing the shoes. Just think about it. Just
I'm gonna
think
think
about it.
about it.
Because the
Anyone out
heels,
there wanna
you were so ahead. You were so ahead of everything with the comfort and making the heel look kind of funky, but yet like for
I
those of us
can see you in those. I can see you in
that
those.
are athletic, that kind of love it, like, no, I can be in these heels all night. Yes, I can. And they look different. But thank you for your time stopping with us. Your album Bouquet drops November 15th. We're playing your single now, somebody else. Love
Oh,
it.
thank
Can't wait to see you again on The Voice. And hopefully you'll be the winner. Hopefully you're
hopefully,
Team
yeah.
Gwen. I know you
Yes,
can't tell us, but Team Gwen.
yes. See you more.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.